What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spurs post-game reaction show with Shivam Patel. I'm coming to you live from San Antonio, Texas, and it's another victory edition of the Spurs post-game reaction show as the Spurs took care of business tonight, continued on the road trip, and beat the Orlando Magic 120-97 in convincing fashion. And you're able to see what a performance that the Spurs put on tonight in Orlando. And again, thank you everybody so much for tuning into this episode of the Spurs postgame reaction show. And please put your comments, your reaction, Spurs Nation, in the chat section below. I will read them live on the show. Tell me how you feel. Are we feeling confident now? Winning 2 games in a row. This team has looked like it's energized and right on the right track going forward, because they were on a tough losing streak, but now they righted the ship and now they've won 2 in a row. So this is a very exciting time to be a Spurs fan. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. And you can watch every episode of the Spurs postgame reaction show on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe. You can also watch it on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel. Be sure to follow that page and the Shiva Patel Facebook channel. So again, put your chats in the comment section below. I will read them live on the show. But it was awesome win by the Spurs. Coming off a back-to-back, I was a little worried because the Spurs have not fared well in the back-to-backs this season. After a very emotional win last night against your arch rival, the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, DeMar DeRozan made the go-ahead shot with 0.5 seconds left to get the Spurs the victory. But tonight, I was a little, worried because they started a little slow. The first 5-6 minutes in the game, they had to get adjusted. Orlando Magic started really well. They even built like an 8-point lead. But then after that, it was just all Spurs. They completely dominated this game in all aspects. They did a great job of, moving the ball around, the ball movement, player movement that I've been talking about. 6 players scored in double figures tonight, which was awesome and much needed, because the balanced scoring attack makes the Spurs very tough to stop. Also they shot really hot from the field, 51%. They made 10 3-pointers, which always helps because they're not a very high volume 3-point shooting team and they don't make a lot of threes. They're near the bottom of the league in shooting and making threes. So whenever you can make threes, which is now today's NBA, that allows you to be able to get them separation and it allows you to have a great chance of winning the game. And that's something that the Spurs did very well tonight. They were shooting confidently. Of course, DeMar DeRozan did his thing. He didn't have as much of a dominant performance as he did last night, but they didn't need it. He put on a masterpiece, getting to his spots, getting his points. DeJounte Murray also stepped up. I love that he was just attacking the basket, just in constant attack mode, as well as Derek White. Also, Drew Eubanks played really well for them because he was just getting these tough rebounds, putbacks, just doing all the dirty work, because the Spurs really need a big man that's serviceable, that can both bang and play defense and also do the dirty work on the offensive end on the floor, whether it's setting screens, rolling really hard, getting extra possessions. And that's exactly what Drew Eubanks did tonight. So he was a huge piece. And then Lonnie Walker continuing to play well and with confidence. He also had a nice night. Almost then had another posterizing dunk, but it was very close. But I love his aggressiveness, getting to his spots. He even made 3 threes in a row. And like I said yesterday, if Lonnie Walker develops that 3-point shot, he's going to be tough to stop. You have no answer for Lonnie Walker. So look for him to continue to develop and continue to be an impactful player for the San Antonio Spurs. So we had a couple of audience comments here. We have an audience member saying, great team effort. Good to see them get a dominating victory for sure. Because the Spurs have really struggled, lately been struggling, I should say, against these lower ranked teams where the games have been a lot closer than they needed to be, a la the Cavaliers, the Bulls. So it was nice to see them put their foot down, assert their dominance, because the Magic are in a complete rebuilding mode. They got rid of Aaron Gordon, got rid of Vucevic, and their main stars are hurt. So they got some players off the trade deadline, which are not bad players, but these players don't have any continuity, have not played together. And if you punch the Magic in the mouth early and just demoralize them, then they're not going to play hard. And they came out playing really hard, getting every loose ball. But then once the Spurs started to really clamp down on the defensive end of the floor and score on the offensive end of the floor and get that separation on the scoreboard, that's when you see the Magic, their hustle hustle wasn't as good. They kind of gave up in a way. So I loved that the Spurs were able to have a nice performance, get a big fat lead, and have a nice victory, and also get the starters out for most of the fourth quarter. Go see some of the young guys, like the Quindary Witherspoons, Devin Vassell, Luka Samanic, and Trey Jones get some action, because you never know in a COVID year when you're going to need those guys. So I love that they were able to get some action and get that experience. Also, we have an audience comment saying, well, what do you think of the Spurs defense tonight? Oh, their defense was outstanding. Besides the first 5 minutes of the game, from there, 43 minutes of dominating defense, stifling defense, they took the Magic out of what they wanted to do, forcing Magic to commit turnovers, getting easy transition points, cleaning up the defensive rebounds, getting a lot of steals. I think their defense was a big factor of why they were able to get this victory tonight. And the Magic are one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA, and it showed. They're not a very good offensive team, but a lot of that had to do with the Spurs defense. Also, the Spurs dominated the rebounding battle, which was something I was looking forward to watching. They got the turnovers, like I said earlier, the fast break points. What I really liked was a 30 assist. It was all like ball movement, player movement, getting to their spots. The great cutting, making the extra pass, finding the open guy. I think that was paramount for the Spurs, that they were able to get a lot of wide open looks. And I think once you have those wide open looks, they're high percentage shots that are definitely going to go in. So I love to see that from the Spurs. And I don't have much to complain about tonight. They did everything really well. The starters played well. Their bench, which has been a huge under big scrutiny on this, in this losing streak, that they really stepped up. Patty Mills made some nice open shots. Of course, like I said, Lonnie Walker, Drew Eubanks, everybody on the bench contributed and made their stamp on this game. And I think that was very important, because once you get that punch from the starting group in the bench, the Spurs team is going to be hard to beat. And I love the way that they played on both ends of the floor, the intensity that they brought. It's a back-to-back, but you could just see their urgency that they need to continue to get as many wins as they can, in the standings, and separate themselves from the rest of the pack and continue to fight their way into the play-in tournament. And games like this are going to go a long way, because last year the Spurs would have lost games like this against inferior opponents that they should beat. But this year, they're doing a much better job of taking care of business, and I think that's going to serve them well going forward as we progress, towards the playoffs. So the last stop for the Spurs on this road trip is the Toronto Raptors, Wednesday night, 6:30 Central Time. I will be back reacting to that game. Let's hope that the Spurs are able to get another victory against a team below 500. The Raptors have also been struggling this year. Battling injuries, COVID issues. They still have some star power on their team with Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam and Chris Boucher, but the Spurs should still be able to take care of business. And they have an extra day of rest and be able to recover and fully be able to give their best effort in order to ensure a victory Wednesday night against the Toronto Raptors. And again, you can listen to that on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to that. Also, the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel, be sure to follow that page, and the Shivam Patel Facebook channel. Let's hope that Spurs winning streak continues, because they need to continue to accumulate as many wins as possible. And I think DeMar DeRozan really set the tone, I think, for the Spurs team, that he was like, hey, we're going to figure things out instead of sulking. And I think, Spurs really rely on him for offensive scoring. And I think they did a great job of, giving him the ball at his necessary spots, allowing him to score, spacing the floor. And DeMar DeRozan is trusting his teammates, and he's making the extra pass. He's energetic. He's a leader. He's an epitome of a Spur. And I think he's really been able to energize this young team in order to continue to get wins as we get closer to the playoffs. Again, the next game is Wednesday night against the Toronto Raptors, who are playing in Tampa, and that is 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And I will be back after that game around 9 o'clock or so to react and get my instant analysis and reaction, and hopefully the Spurs are able to get another victory. So thank you again so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all the audience comments. Spurs Nation, we're feeling good, but let's keep the train rolling. We cannot be satisfied, and let's hope for another victory Wednesday night. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.